And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Real Estate. My name's Ray. This is Dan. Say hey, Dan.
Hi, Matt.
Matt LaMarche is here. This is This Week in Real Estate, hosted by the Bearded Men of Real Estate. For those of you who have been around the block a long time, like 3 years, we used to be called the Bearded Men of Real Estate. We recently, fairly recently, changed the name because the more I was telling people about our show, the more I had to say, we're the Bearded Men of Real Estate. And they're like, oh, great. What's that show about? I'm like,
It's
okay.
so weird.
So we just
I
called
had
it
so
This
I
Week
had
in Real
that conversation, like why we changed our name, about being the Bearded Men of Real Estate, talking about real estate and what we talk about.
Yeah.
And that we're the Bearded Men of Real Estate talking about real estate. And they went, "What's the show about?"
What's the show about, though? Yeah.
And I told them we
This is
changed it to
true.
This Week in Real Estate. And they're like, "Oh, so what's the show about?" I'm all,
This
I
is so
don't
true.
know.
Yeah. So welcome,
Times.
everybody. We're broadcasting in 3 locations right now. We're on Clubhouse, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you're
Mhm.
joining us in any of those locations, you can comment, you can raise your hand and jump up on stage and comment on Clubhouse, or you can leave us a comment on one of the other outlets like Facebook or the YouTubes, and we could display your comment and talk about you or your comment. So we really appreciate the feedback. Actually, you know what I didn't do today? Dan, I should be in trouble for it. I didn't share the show. So just so you guys know, the show, like on Facebook, it's a pay to play place. So there's very little organic reach now on Facebook. So we always appreciate it when you share the show there. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also share the show, shoot it around, do whatever you need to. But yeah, just to let you know, we really appreciate the shares because that's how this show gets some traction. How I guess you could say we develop the conversation. We increase the amount of conversation that we have, which is why we do this live.
Conversation.
We could do a pre-recorded show and just talk about the news and then release it but it just doesn't seem as interesting to me. So I love having the feedback and the conversation and all that. That's why we have.
I record videos for listings and things, and I don't know, they're boring. This is much more fun, especially when we get Couch Gang 2019 jumping on.
The Couch Gang was incredible. What he means, though, everyone, is that his listing videos are like no other, and you should watch them and buy all the properties that he lists.
No, you should buy the properties that I list because I list them at a compelling price and make them perfect for what buyers are looking for.
What? There's going to be some marketers that are really upset at this take. Speaking of marketers,
that's what I'm here today. I'm here to. I'm what you call a disruptor.
Disruptor. Yeah. It's super disrupting. Well, thank you guys again for joining. Let me give you the run. Oh, I've already done the rundown. No, that was just for the Clubhouse folks. All right. So here's the rundown of the news stories we're going to talk about today. And then I'm going to let Dan tell you what the show is actually all about. Mm-hmm. We're going to be talking about the housing. Has it reached the new peak? Is this the top of the housing market? Will prices go down from here? That's a big question I want to ask. So are we at peak housing, which was kind of our thumbnail? We're talking about mortgage demand falling and the interest rate surging, home builders adjusting their expectations. Single family rents are at a record rate. Is that going to start going down too, or is that going to continue to go up? What are investors doing right now? We're talking about 3 companies. NAR has a tech investment arm that launches a program for associations. So we're going to talk about those. There's 2 companies that have joined together that are basically allowing you to use crypto as a collateral to purchase fractional ownership in real estate. Now, I think it was about a month ago, we talked about a company in Miami. Do you remember this, Dan? And they were the first to say you can use your crypto as collateral to purchase a house.
Yeah.
This one is using your crypto as collateral to buy fractional ownership in real estate. So we'll talk about that. Knock is another big iBuyer. They're laying off half of its workforce and announcing a round of funding for $220 million. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about Russians unloading luxury homes. We're talking about the richest of rich, the oligarch group. And so if you're in the market for that type of home, this could be a way for you to get a steal right now. So that's what we're going to talk about. Again, thanks, Julie. And she's joining us on Clubhouse and on YouTube. And she drops a comment, says, is this price market peak, Dan? Is that price market peak, Dan?
I don't understand what that question means, so I can't answer it.
I think she's asking, are we seeing peak Dan? That's the real question. Is this
price
peak Dan?
Market? So is that like a nickname? Is that price market peak Dan?
Love it.
Yes, I'm personally keeping the market
She said that was from about 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm late. I'm late getting.
Well, we have to do the banter because people love the banter, and if you don't love the banter, Ray, what can they do?
If you're watching this later, I guess, so the recording, and you're on YouTube, you could go down to the comments and you'll see a description of everything we talk about and little timestamps. You can click on those timestamps and be zoomed to that part of the show so that you can pass the beloved maligned banter.
Yeah, the beloved maligned banter.
Yeah, it's both. I actually got a message from someone on Instagram, and they're like, "Hey, I love your show. I'm a fan of the banter." So I appreciate that. Thank you. She listens to us as she walks.
Yeah, and yes, Julie, yes. I'm personally keeping the market chill because I appropriately price things. But Ray and I both got tagged yesterday, I think it was, someone listening to the show while they're just kind of, I don't know if she was on a walk or just in her car or something, but that was so cool. She shared it to Instagram and tagged us in, and that was so rad that she listens to the podcast and let us know. So that was really cool.
And if you're listening to us on Clubhouse, be sure you follow a lot of the moderators that are up there. Is she on?
Ashley Wakefield. That's her. She just jumped into
Ashley.
She just jumped into Clubhouse.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Speak of the devil.
Good. How are you? I always try to join in on Clubhouse on the live, but I never come up to speak. But I'm like, oh my gosh, they're
talking about me. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining.
So no problem.
Welcome to Clubhouse.
For sure.
You actually found us on Clubhouse first a long time ago, right?
Yeah. So I got on Clubhouse like everybody else, like during the pandy, because what else was there to do? So for I think it was like January 2021, something like that. So I've been a long time lurker. So
well, thanks. Well, thanks for coming up to contribute. That's awesome.
Hey,
yes,
Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Matt, there's no better talk today, but there is knock talk.
Yeah, we may knock this company a little bit.
And we're going to talk about knock stars today.
Knock stars. That's their words, not ours.
Right.
All right. So Dan, before we get into all these wonderful headlines, would you tell people what this show is actually all about?
You know what? I'd love to. When Ray and I met here on the interwebs, right after Al Gore invented it, he literally invented it and then invented pants. And then we met. Like it was that order right there. That's when we met.
Usenet groups originally.
Yeah. We were snarkily trolling people in a subtle manner in the early 90s, but a few years apart in age. But anyway, I had an idea for a show called the Bearded Man of Real Estate Show, which is now This Week in Real Estate, hosted by the Bearded Man of Real Estate, because I'm in fact a bearded man. But when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
What was that, Daniel?
Do you know he's never been on a submarine? Not once. Not even the fake ones at amusement parks. Never.
So we actually have a submarine in the Mississippi River called the Razorback that you could tour, and it's on my list of things to do in Arkansas.
So you haven't been on it.
I haven't been on it. I need to go do it. If you're in Arkansas and you're near Little Rock, it's on the North Little Rock, you can tour the Razorback, which is a submarine there in the parked. So there you go.
They are like a legit one. Is it a new one? Is it an old one, or?
It's kind of old. I think most submarines are kind of old. I don't know that there's a lot of fresh pressed submarines coming right off the factory.
Like there's not a hot market for submarines. I think there is. We just don't know about it.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
But no, I don't know that there's a lot of new submarines being produced every year.
Yeah, and I don't think they're like, hey, I'll have this done in a month. I think it takes a couple of years. These things are gnarly. Do you ever watch? We've talked about it. Do you ever watch Smarter Every Day?
Yeah.
That guy's awesome. Destin is his name, and the channel is called Smarter Every Day on YouTube. If you don't know it, go check it out. His channel is amazing. He does lots of cool stuff, but he did a tour of I forget the actual submarine, but he had like great access. He had to blur some things out and couldn't show some stuff, but he
if I get the tour of the Razorback, I promise not to blur out my tour. You're gonna see it all.
Well, he was on an actual like mission, so he couldn't let you hear some things and see some things. If you're touring the Razorback in the Mississippi, you're okay. You're fine.
Well, its mission is to sit there and let people tour through it.
Right. And
Matt Lamar said, wait till they give you a nickname, Ashley.
You know,
Jack says, is this a pre-show monologue?
Yeah. This is the much maligned banter.
Banter.
Ashley, I don't know this Ashley here personally, but most of the Ashleys I know, I give the nickname Smashly. So I don't know if that's they tend to imbibe a little more than others. Anyway, I'm not saying that about this Ashley. I'm just saying the Ashleys that I know. But anyway, the Ashleys that I've previously met. But no, Ray has not. We learned that now. He's not actually been.
I haven't been. Well, it's crazy that you knew that I had such access to a submarine and yet had not been on it. So it's pretty amazing.
What did I do on Clubhouse? I'm going robot on Clubhouse.
Oh, Dan is going robot. Oh, so that means there's an internet issue, guys, which probably also means that we're jumping around on the internet.
Yeah. Anyway,
sorry, ain't nothing I can do.
Yes,
hopefully it'll clear up.
I knew you had access, but had not been on it, so you need to get on that. Check that off your list right away, Ray. That's tough to say, Ray. But I obviously noticed Ray is a beautifully bearded man, but what I also noticed, he loves giving value up front to not only his clients, but just to humans in general. So the show's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
And one of the ways we think it's great for agents to give back is to know what in the world is going on in the world. So that's why we do the show. So as real estate agents, we think it's important to know about the economy and what's happening in the marketplace. And we want to give agents one place to go to, not only agents, but industry leaders, lenders, title companies, anyone that's involved in the business, but also investors. I have a lot of investors that listen to the show that tell me about some stuff we talked about. So we just wanted one place for people to go to kind of get a synopsis of what's happened in the week of real estate. That way they could dive deeper into the articles they're interested in, but get a broad overview of what's happening so that they can help their clients make the best decision with the largest investment. So,
well, and Ray, how many times since the, happenings, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to call it a war because that's what Russia is doing.
I think we can say, I don't think we'll be censored for saying war. I think we can say war.
Okay.
You just can't say Rona.
You can't say Rona, but people
say war.
The Russians or Putin himself is he's like, no, it's a military offensive. No, it's war, buddy. Anyway,
it's offensive. All right.
Yeah, it's super offensive. It's an offensive war.
All right.
But since that's been going on the last few weeks, there hasn't been much. Usually just throughout the week, there's kind of a big story here or a big something there, and we haven't really seen much. But both last week and this week, Ray and I started digging, as well as our contributors, which we thank you for, start digging, and you kind of start really seeing what's going on. And it's really interesting to have to seriously look for news in real estate, because you see a lot of other stuff that kind of floats by as you read it. So I learn a lot every single week doing this, but then we hit the kind of, I guess, the more needed to know headlines, but we'll keep searching for you, and we'll keep getting the stuff out there for you.
Yeah. Maybe we're at peak war news right now instead of peak housing.
Peak war news. Yeah.
There you go. Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Wait, do you do 4 or 5?
I don't know how many. I actually, we should count someday. I don't know.
Because I used to do 3 and I thought you were doing 4. So I went to 4 and you just did 5.
We're just longer every week
for an hour.
Yeah. In 5 years, it'll be 10 minutes of
just forget the banter.
Yeah.
People are like, dude, they need to stop doing this.
Yeah. And all 6 of our viewers are still watching like, oh, this gets better every time.
I love this. This is the much maligned blue looping.
There you go. All right.
Ray's a one-upper. He is.
A bit of a one-upper. Markets reached new peak in February. So the top performing real estate markets in February reached a new peak median price of $562,000, according to the analysis by Realtor.com. And that marks a 43% jump. Let me read that again. That marks a 43% jump over last month's national median list price.
Wait, so that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
$170,000 jump in 1 month.
Yeah. So Dan, this clearly means that my house that was worth $400,000 last week is now worth $562,000, correct?
No, because this is a median, not an average.
But that's what it says, Dan. It says 43% jump over last month's median.
So just add 43% to my house.
Right. Realtor.com releases a monthly report of the hottest housing markets in the country. They have several on here, and this article is actually from Realtor Magazine, so you could go get the details. It was released March 14th. You were looking for it. But here's a quote from George Ratteo. He's Realtor senior economist. He said the shortage of inventory has led to fast-paced sales, with buyers snapping up properties as soon as they hit the market. Moreover, the surge in mortgage rates in the first 6 weeks of the year further prompted buyers to find a home before rates moved even higher. These factors have pushed median prices to record highs, not only in the hottest markets, but across the entire country. And then it's got a list of those markets. If you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of check them out. But the reason why I really wanted to dive into this one first, Dan, it sounds to me like the obvious headline grab is the 43% increase, right? So whenever you have that obvious headline grab of, hey, median home prices are now 43% above what they were last year or last week. Was it last year or last? Let me make sure I get this right. Oh, last month. Last month. So
that seems like a big jump in a month.
Right. In a month, it's increased 43%. So this is not average appreciation. This is not the appreciation of homes. This is simply what home has been in the middle of transactions.
Right. The middle is now 5 whatever.
Right. And I think a lot of things can contribute to that. One is fewer homes sold on the bottom 1/3.
On the bottom one, yeah.
Right. So if fewer homes are sold from 100,000 or 0,000 to 300,000. Right, 0,000 to 300,000. So
that's how the economists say it. 0,000. Yeah,
that's how the real economists say it. So so Logan Matashami, he needs to take notes. 0,000 to 300,000 is a price bracket.
0,000. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So if there are fewer home sales in that area, then it's going to move the middle of transactions towards the luxury side. If there's
average is not middle, people. Average is not the middle.
Average is different. So I just want to bring that out for some folks. I actually somebody misquoted this on an Instagram post, and I'm like, oh dear.
Like you made 43% last month. No, you didn't.
Your home equity could have increased 43%. Click here for more. I'm like, no, that's go ahead.
But wait, listen though. Just a devil's advocate. If you were the exact median home that was 392, and that same home is now the exact median at 532 or 42. Yes, 562. Now your house went up 43%. But you have to be that one house in America that did that, and that didn't happen.
Where could that home even be located? Like it's just Jack Adridge, he says these crazy numbers continue as we're starting from a dead stop with little inventory since the first of the year. Not to say that the prices are not rising, but of 50% month to month, we simply do not have enough housing supply and won't for years to come, from affordable housing to rentals to big luxury homes.
And we have rental news in a minute, but I did some numbers.
We also have some luxury home news in a minute too, which could be the thing that's kind of moving it up. So wait until the very end of the show. Stay tuned. We may have part of the answer why the median is starting to move up a little bit.
Oh, we don't provide answers. We just provide more problems, and then hopefully you guys figure them out on your own. Just kidding. So I ran numbers. So I think the lowest that we've hit is like 11 and 12 days of inventory here in Rancho Cucamonga. I just ran numbers today. We're actually at 23 days of inventory. So we've gone up here in just Rancho.
That's not terrible.
I didn't do the 10-mile radius. I just did. So it's actually up because it's been down 17 days, 14 days, 12 days. It felt like it's been going down. And right now we have 82 active listings and we're selling about 3.5 homes a day. When you do the math, that's about 23 days of inventory, which is not enough at all by any stretch of the imagination. But that's a trend upward that I haven't seen in a really long time. In over a year, I haven't seen that trend upward. So I'd be curious to know on Clubhouse, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, what is your inventory like? Is it waning? Is it getting less, or is it kind of loosening a little bit and getting more inventory? I'd love to hear that.
Julie Moon says only the beard economists say it like that.
So
0,000. In our market, we are seeing an increase in the supply a little bit. Oh, look at the kitty.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing an increase. We are seeing an increase in the amount of supply. So I think it just more people are thinking about listing their home. We always see that in March. So I think it's no different. I think you're just seeing an increase.
Well, I feel, sorry, as I move the cat, I feel that sellers are kind of getting to I think we're at the top kind of thing. Like whether they know or not that, things are going to kind of just slow, home price gains are going to slow. I feel like they're feeling that pinch. Like, okay, I've maximized, the big jumps over the last 2 years. I should probably take advantage of this. And I just met with the seller yesterday. His house, he bought less than 2 years ago, and he's already made $125,000 in an area that's not known, but he's got the perfect house on the perfect street in kind of the rougher city, but he's maximizing his dollar, and they're like, it's kind of a no-brainer. We have to sell, even if we don't buy right now. We just live with our mother-in-law. So
you met with him this month?
Yesterday.
Be sure to let him know that 43% of those gains came in the last month. Eric Daniels
yesterday.
Yesterday. Eric Daniels said 0.6 months of inventory headed down to Fort Worth. Let's see. Fast math. 18 days. Is that 18 days?
18 days. Yeah.
Julie Moon says we did have an increase in supply, but it hasn't shown much inventory long term.
Right.
It also quickly. Shawnee, I saw you flashing your mic. You want to talk about your supply in your market? What's going on? Are you there, Shawnee?
I was just going to check the report to see the actual, but it's because it's spring, definitely in March, we're seeing a pickup. We're in the spring market started in the Feb, saying that.
Uh-oh. I'm losing you a little bit, Shawnee.
And I wanted to think.
Christina wanted to go too.
All right, Shawnee, let us know when you get a little bit better connection there and you can jump out in. Christina, did you flash your mic? Christina M. Smallhorn. She's about to jump on a call.
That's what's happening.
All right, Matt, I saw you flash. What's up, man?
I was just saying I couldn't hear Shawnee, but yeah, 0.9 in Atlanta.
0.9, is that 27?
Right.
27 days? Are you just testing my math skills now? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, because he said 0,000.
I think so. Because because I said 0,000, I can still do some math. So
I know. I said actual days, and everyone else is like, nah, 0.6, 0.9,
0.6 months.
Right.
Months plural too, not 0.6 month, 0.6 months.
Or they could go the other way. They could go, we have 120% of 2 weeks supply inventory right now. What?
Yeah, there you go. The real economist. That's how we do it.
Right.
All right. Oh, there's a new chat feature also. So if you're on Clubhouse, you could drop into the chat. All right. So Mr. West Las Vegas, I want you to reply to this in the chat too. He said that it's 0.08. Is that right? Or do you mean 0.8? Because 0.08 is like
that's a day.
2 days. No, it's two.
It's a 10th.
It's almost 3 days. It's like 2.5 days.
Right.
2.5. 0.8 would be different.
That's a severe crisis if it's 0.08.
Yeah.
That's not even 1/10%, or that's not even a 10th. That's 1/10% less than, right?
So drop into the chat. Let me know, Mr. West Las Vegas, because that's kind of severe. All right. So I think that talks about our inventory. Let's get into what's happening with mortgages. Mortgage demand falls as interest rates surge to multi-year highs. So we all know the rates have been going up. It's multi-year highs because we've been in a pandy and we've been in the crap for like 2 years. So of course it's a multi-year high. A sharp jump in mortgage rates last week soured demand from both current homeowners and potential home buyers, causing mortgage applications to drop. With rates now back on the market, expected up trajectory following the brief drop in the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, mortgage volume is likely to fall further in the coming weeks. So it's kind of all over the place right now. I think the name for it is volatility. So as you have your clients say, well, what are mortgage rates doing right now? It's pretty volatile. As a matter of fact, I think last week, whenever we were mentioning how mortgage rates had gone up, somebody sent me a text and said, they're back down now. So, okay. The average interest rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with conforming loan balance $647,000 or less increased to 4.27% from 4.09. So that's a pretty high rate increase.
And
Here's a
that's
quote.
on our prediction show. Wasn't I the highest, or someone else may have been higher than me? But I think I was at 4.15 is what I think my guess was. And
but there's still a chance. There's still a chance it could go right back down.
For me,
I was at 3.65. So,
right.
All right. So this is from Joel Kahn. He's the Mortgage Bankers Association economist. He said mortgage rates continue to be volatile. See, he's using my word due to the significant uncertainty regarding the Federal Reserve policy and the situation in Ukraine. Investors are weighing the impacts of rapidly increasing inflation in the U.S. and many other parts of the world against the potential for a slowdown in economic growth due to a renewed bout of supply chain constraints. So the investors he's talking about, those are investors in the mortgages, people that buy your mortgage. He's not talking about like home investors.
Right.
Which, by the way, I'm seeing more than ever. Like the last 3 calls I got were from people trying to buy properties as investment properties.
Yeah, because rents are up, which we'll cover in a minute. Okay, come
on. So mortgage rates moved significantly higher at the start of the week as investors anticipate interest rate hikes Wednesday by the Federal Reserve, which we were waiting on news for. While mortgage rates don't follow the Fed funds rate, they do loosely follow the yields on the 10-year Treasury and are also heavily influenced by the Fed's plan to taper purchases of mortgage-backed bonds and reduce its holdings. That sentence was for Tony. He knows who he is. He's like, he's a lender. He's like, you guys talk about mortgage rates going up and, you know, it directly impacting, but it's kind of an indirect. So there you go. Anytime yields are pushing near multi-year highs, it's worth having a discussion about potential shifts in the trend based solely on momentum. That's Matthew Graham. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Mortgage News Daily. It's not oversimplifying things to say that rallies can happen simply due to an overabundance of selling pressure. All right, so we'll keep our eye on this. We've been talking about it for a long time, of course.
I wonder if anything's going to get down to 0,000 anytime soon.
0,000. Well, you know, the Fed did drop to 0.00% last year, right?
Yeah. Hey, I found that one stat interesting. Mortgage applications to purchase home rose 1% for the week. I think that's pretty interesting. Even though they're so volatile, they went up for the week and only down 8% from a year ago. That's interesting to me. That's not, you know, doom and gloom like everyone wants you to think it is.
So that may be due to the easing of supply. I mean, even if there's like a 10-day change in the supply, that's several houses that are hitting the market. So you might be seeing an increase in applications just due to the supply easing in March.
Yeah. And then that'll mean that that supply easing, meaning we get more listings, they're going to go quicker. It's going to make us struggle again with it. So agents, get out there and knock your doors and make your calls, please.
That's right. But what do I know? I'm just a real estate agent. Home builders sales expectations drop dramatically as mortgage rates soar. So this is kind of the other half. Go ahead.
Before you get into this, they usually say the home builder sentiment drops or plummets or whatever. It's usually very sensationalistic. This one's actually has cause for concern. This one does.
They drop dramatically. We're talking about
this one actually had a dramatic drop. It really did. You'll get to the numbers in a second.
All right. So rising mortgage rates are starting to take their toll on the nation's home builders who are more concerned about affordability, leading to the all-important spring housing market as mortgage rates surge. So this article is on CNBC, guys. It says builders' expectations for the next 6 months declined a steep 10 points. So obviously they think it's going way down. But it would decline 10 points to 70, Dan, according to the National Association of Home Builders, Wells Fargo Housing Market Index.
We've been talking about this sentiment for the entirety of the show, and it's always been 2 points. I think at one point it went up like 5 points, but a 10-point drop for sales expectations in the next 6 months. They expect sales to go down, and that's pretty crazy. And by the way, I don't know how they come to these numbers, but
so this is the builder sales expectations portion of the builder sentiment. So, but when you look at the overall builder sentiment, Dan, it dropped 2 points to 79.
Right. But
February's read was also revised lower last March. It stood at 82.
Right. But
So
that sales expectations, remember that one has stayed up because they're like, no, I know things are rough. We're
Right.
not seeing as much traffic right now, but we still expect to sell a lot of houses. Now they're like, oh yeah, we don't expect to sell a lot because we can't make a lot.
No, I think so. Any number over 50 is positive, right?
Right.
That's what they keep saying. So I don't think they're like, well, no, we're not going to make it. I think they're like, there'll probably be some pullback due to the high rates. We're still going to build a lot. We're still going to sell a lot. That's what I think.
That's a big, and I don't disagree. I'll say it that way. That's just a big drop in that sentiment anyway, in the sales expectations arena.
It would be cool if you did disagree. I mean, we've been having this show for a long time, and one of the reasons we started the show is because we thought, hey, we're two guys that. What is that noise? Are you playing music over there?
No, I'm getting a call from a listing agent that I really need to take.
Say, just send him a link to our show and say, jump on here, go to Clubhouse, ask the question. I'll answer it live.
That's either we got the house or we didn't. That's that call.
Or can you change one thing and can you do it within the next 15 minutes and you'll get it?
Yeah.
I'll let you take the call after or at least text. I'll let you take the call after we get to the next article. But
I'm going to text. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
So no, what I was saying is that, I think they're looking at it overall and saying, it's probably going to ease up a little bit, but it doesn't seem like it's in dire straits. It's basically what I would anticipate for everything that's going on in the world right now. It's volatile.
Yeah, everything's volatile, right? Even the 0,000th rates, it's volatile.
0,000ths.
Yeah.
D Jones says they normally call to let you know the offer was declined.
No. Well,
no, they don't. That's why he wants to take the call.
Yeah, that's why I want to take the call.
Julie Mood says, D says, excuse Dan. And Julie says, no, get the agent on here. Let's do it live. Let's do it live, Dan.
Yeah, you can hear me negotiate live. I'm one of the best negotiators you've ever heard. So I'm definitely down to do it live.
That would be so funny. And you get on the phone, you're like, please, 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 please. That's your negotiation.
That's how I negotiate. Just please tell me yes.
I'll give up 100% of my commission if you'll like, wait, Dan, what's happening?
I said I was good. I didn't say how I was good.
He can promise you he'll get the house for his client.
Right.
Oh my goodness. D said, I want to hear a live offer get accepted. All right. So
Same.
If you need to take the call, go ahead. I could do this next article.
Wait, what is the next article?
I'm glad you asked, Dan. It's about single-family rent prices surging at a record rate, led by homes in the Sunbelt cities.
Okay, yeah, you got this, man. I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead, bro. All right, so single-family prices are surging. Single-family rental prices are surging, so demand for single-family rental home is soaring, pushing prices to record highs as Americans continue to want larger homes with outdoor spaces. So single-family rents gained a record 12.6% year over year in January. According to a new report from CoreLogic, that compares to an increase of 3.9% in January of 2021. So even in the first year of the pandy, we didn't see rate increases soar like that. But I think one of the things that we were seeing is that landlords saw the opportunity, knowing with limited housing that they could do that. So as people have been moving out of those houses over the last year and a half, I think you're starting to see the rates go up and away. Every major market saw increases, but cities in the Sun Belt saw some truly stunning numbers. So I thought this was interesting too, how it was kind of, everyone saw increases, but check out these numbers, 38.6% increase in Miami. Phoenix were the next line with gains of 19.9% and 18.9%. So Phoenix had 18.9%, Orlando had 19.9%. Washington, D.C. area saw the lowest annual growth rent prices. They were still up 5.6%. And so this quote is from Molly Bossel. She's a principal economist at CoreLogic. She said, single-family rent growth extended its record-breaking price growth streak to 10 consecutive months in January. Of course, we know it goes into the reason in the article from CNBC of why the demand is what it is. And we all know as real estate agents that part of the reason that demand is there and it is what it is because people can't find anywhere else to live. So Let's see. D says, this is to Dan. At least someone is getting offers accepted. Yes. So one of the big questions I have for you guys is, I think due to the rate increases that we're seeing and due to the opportunity there for investors to make more money, I'm getting an increase in the number of phone calls from investors to purchase property here, especially I think because Arkansas is a pretty landlord friendly state. But it seems like there's a lot of investors that are looking for properties, and not just short-term rental properties, which I wonder if that that number is broken out. Does anyone know? Let's see. Single family rental homes. Would a short-term rental be considered a single family rental home in this? Because if so, then that could be a huge portion of the increase, especially in markets like Orlando, Phoenix, and Miami. I don't see that that's broken out. I'll try to do a little bit of research on that this week to see if that's in that number or not. If that is, then that could explain some of the double digit or 38%, 19%, 18% increases, because the Airbnbs and things like that, of course, they rent for a lot more per month, and it changes your number. All right. So I want to hear from some of you on Clubhouse, some of you in the chat. Are you getting more investor calls, fewer investor calls? If you are getting a lot of investor calls right now, what are you doing to get them a property? Because it's hard enough for someone looking for an owner occupied home, and they're usually willing to pay a little more. What are your investors reacting like in the multiple offer situations and the as they look to purchase properties? Julie Moon says, yes, I get those calls weekly. Investors who are priced out of other markets think Athens, Georgia is affordable. We are a bit cheaper, but they are usually surprised. Lisa Perk says landlord friendly. Compared to other states, Lisa. Lisa's in Arkansas and a real estate agent. All right. So anyone on Clubhouse want to comment on that? What are you guys seeing? No? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, Matt. I hear you.
I was going to say, typically, Julie, that's because you win a national championship and the prices go up. But as far as Atlanta's concerned,
and Southern Living just voted Athens the #1 Southern college town.
Southern Living only circulated in Georgia. No, I'm kidding. I know it's.
Yeah. So I will say, like, half of my business is investors, and their strategy hasn't really changed. They just aren't willing to get into the multiple offer situation stuff. So a lot of them have pulled back, but their strategy is the same in that they understand appreciation. Again, here in Atlanta, at least, is enough for them to still want to play. The challenge is just the inventory. So by the time they're not as quick as most of my normal buyers. So that's been our biggest headache at this point, is just the inventory itself, not necessarily the value.
What do you mean they're not as fast? You mean the investors aren't making decisions as fast as your normal buyers?
No, they're not.
Interesting.
So my investors in the past have been really good about, like, within a day or two, get property, but now it's taking them a week, and you just don't have that kind of time right now. So
yeah, so that's been my experience too. Normally investors are pretty quick at deciding on what to do with the property. They kind of already know their number and then they go. So I guess you might see a lot of investors that are kind of outside their wheelhouse, right? They're outside their comfort zone and deciding, can we go up that high too? Well,
exactly right.
Maybe with the rent increases, are you aware of the rent increase number in your market specifically?
Yeah, the last number we saw was 18.9, according to an economist that we brought in for our association summit 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
So in 2021, across Metro Atlanta, which is like 11, 12 counties, it was about an 18, almost 19% increase.
So are the investors taking that into account? Like, are they saying, okay, this is an opportunity here. Maybe it's been mismanaged, or the current tenants aren't paying that. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And again, a lot of them are looking at the appreciation, and I know Sean's coming up, but yeah, a lot of them are starting with the appreciation. Then when you can tell them almost a 200% increase, from last year, that's a big deal. So yeah.
Interesting. What's up, Sean? How are you, man? Are you there, Sean?
They don't allow squatters.
Yeah. I've been on in months. Hey, well, I was going to piggyback on what Matt said. So I was an REO broker during the downturn of the market. So majority of my But I'm actually seeing the exact opposite of Matt. I mean, I guess because we send out a huge list to hundreds of investors.
Yeah.
But we are seeing them still make the offers. They're still making them quick. And we're not, I guess, in this market, it being competitive when they would put in an all cash offer, they would have their own in-house inspector come in, then come back and say, oh, we found all these issues. Hey, we want to adjust the price. They're attempting to adjust the price, and if you're working with a lot of those investors, sometimes you're gonna hear, oh, well, what should we do? I know the ones that will not. They also, well, first let me say, they know that I'm going to tell them no. They know that we have multiple offers, so are they willing to pay $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 more than they normally would? Or they just want to let it go because they know we're going to sell it for at least that. And a lot of it here in the Atlanta market is price dependent. So I know Matt's in probably a much higher, dollar bracket on maybe some certain investment properties, but it's still that $200,000 to $300,000 sweet spot for investors. That it's blind offer. They come in, they'll buy it as is, and they won't beat us up because they know we're going to say no. And they know I've done this for 2 decades with investors. So, they're pissing in the wind if they think we're going to discount the price in the seller's market. But we are still seeing a ton of investor offers. Matter of fact, the last 6 that I've sold were just to investors. They beat out every even primary, somebody that's going to buy it for their primary residence that had cash, they still beat it out.
Interesting.
Wow.
So, of course, Matt is in a higher price bracket because he drives a Porsche, right, Matt? I mean,
Porsche.
That's the sign. That's the.
I drive a Tesla. It's not like I drive a
Oh man, everybody's got a Tesla. The government is being like, "Hey, everyone should get a Tesla." So that's going to become a common car, sir. No,
hey, and guess what's going to happen?
Thank you for making me feel like I'm a peasant.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not paying $8 a gallon for gas, are you even wealthy? So
are you even alive?
There. I mean, so
I know. Matt wants me to meet him at the gas station so I can take a picture of him and his Porsche at the pump so he can post it.
That's so, well, yeah, you'll have plenty of time as you're parked at the gas station for 30 minutes charging your Tesla. But so anyway.
And that's a fast charge.
I was just kidding. Throwing enough shade. Speaking of investments and high gas prices and disposable income. No, but that's a really interesting point. So, to other agents that are out there kind of listening to the discussion, I think you are seeing a differentiating in the market from experienced investors and those that are maybe in a higher price bracket versus those that are still buying up stuff as fast as possible. There's a lot of investors in the bottom 1/3 of the market that in our market are looking at it as an extreme opportunity and trying to buy up whatever they can. But I just had a property that I listed in the bottom 1/3 and the investor's offer was in 3rd place. So we had 2 other owner occupied offers. It's an as is transaction. Both of those were either conventional mortgage. I mean, they, cash type of deal. So we went through the first one. It dropped to the backup. Now we're on that one. They inspected the property. They know it's as is. And now they're thinking about dropping. Then you have the investor sitting in the 3rd backup position. And they're like, yeah, we'll take it. I mean, we'll just close fast and it's no big deal. But they were 3rd. The price difference in what my clients will make on each of those is only about $5,000. But in this situation, they had to take the highest one. It's kind of a court sale deal. You can't just take the 3rd price one because it had better favorable terms because the judges are like, take the biggest one. So, so that's kind of
the best one.
So advice to those who are representing people that are investors, if you can get into a backup position, sit in a backup position. Cause I think you're seeing more and more, in those certain situations. I can't remember if Sean or Matt said it, the highest priced bidder is trying to change the price after going under contract, finding reasons in the inspection, finding reasons due to appraisal. They're finding whatever reasons they can to try to get that price back down to what they thought was reasonable when they put in their initial offer before they increase their offer. So I think that's a great strategy. It's just to go for the backup. And if you can get in the backup, I think you're going to be in a much better position as an investor to move forward with them because you've rescued that seller and they're going to be more pliable also. Sorry about that. What's up, Shawnee? Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I also hear myself through your car. I think we're in your car audio.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. I was just going to say, I agree with you on investors. I just got one as a backup. I work a lot with investors, and that actually is happening a lot because people, just like you explained, will try and get an offer through, and then during the session they'll just come up with other things. And yeah, investors are buying it, especially as a hedge against inflation. I work a lot with them. I have a lot of buy and hold investors, and they don't want to hold on to any kind of cash that they have. They want to spend their money now because you can just raise the rent. Rents are skyrocketing, so that's a hedge against inflation, right? When you have a rental property, what do? You raise the rent, and rents are high right now. So they're still buying. Some of them are just as strong as they move in buyer.
Yeah, that's a great point. So there's an auto fight in the YouTube comments. If you're seeing that, Sean, Matt says no one brags about having a California Camry. Sean,
I do. I brag about my California minivan all the time.
Julie Moon said her Toyota Highlander identifies as a Porsche.
Yeah, I have a
All
Toyota
right.
Sienna, dude. They're amazing cars. It's the best car in the market. I don't care about your Porsche, Matt.
Porsche. D is
you have to
D
say
Jones
Porsche.
is the lender. D Jones is the lender says way more fall through, fellas. So
Tesla equals California Camry. How many?
Yeah, that's what it's called. Have you never heard this?
No, I live in California. Of course, I haven't heard this.
That's the slight. That's the slight against the Tesla in states that drink gasoline by the gallons.
Is it? Is that a slight that we came up with
to.
new technology that's awesome? Like
It's supposed to be a slight.
Oh, well, I'll take it. I'm down. That's good. But you should come up with something better, Matt.
Speaking of new technology, these are getting better and better. NAR's tech investment arm launches a program for associations. So Second Century Ventures is a National Association of Realtors strategic technology investment firm. That's a mouthful. And they're helping realtor associations build a stronger tie to the startup community and spark technology innovations as business solutions for its members. This seems like a lot of platitudes, Dan. This was a news release, Local realtor associations play a vital role in connecting with members and affiliates across the nation. The new Reach Labs program enhances our ability to deliver innovation to realtors, both locally and globally. What innovation are we working on?
Okay, but Reed, dang it. Now I'm getting another call from another seller listing agent. I need to.
Show's almost over. Working collaboratively with NAR and other innovative realtor associations throughout the country allows us to shape technology landscape for industry in the way that's both immediate and long-term benefits for our members and their clients.
Okay.
What are they saying?
Right. So I read this whole article, which is a quick one. It's a quick one, but I read the whole thing what's it? Scroll back up, Ray. God dang it.
NAR's tech investment arm launches program for associations.
Okay, cool. That's a great. Right. What does it do? Like literally, because so I make my notes. I wish I could share my screen. I have a little Word doc where I pull notes and I make notes and my own little thoughts on every article. And all this one says is, but what does it do? What is it? It's reaching out and helping. It doesn't even say it's helping realtors actually innovate. It's just helping connect them to being able to innovate or something. I don't get it.
This is one of those things that it's like when you have an event planning committee but never plan any events. I feel like that's what we just did. Let's don't innovate.
We can no longer support those closes.
We can no longer support the technology goals that we originally set. So let's create a group that connects associations to people that can do technology because we can't. When all you guys have to do is figure out one way to get all the MLSs to put all of their listings on one website.
That's it.
It would be the biggest, most life-changing for consumers and realtors advance in technology that we've ever seen.
Ever. If they all connected across, imagine if I could search properties with my client sitting here in Florida with the agent that I know in Florida, and we're looking at them together saying, hey, what do you think of this? Okay, cool. I'll be down next week and we'll go look at those. What if we could do that?
That would be insane.
You wouldn't need this reach program. It's the most you could ever do for us.
And somehow companies like Zillow have done it. And somehow companies like Remax, Keller Williams, CryLike,
Yeah,
Century 21.
Jack, we
EXP.
could call it realtor.com. Oops, we can't.
Yeah, Jack says we could call it realtor.com. Oops, we
Yeah.
gave that away. Jack.
No, we leased it. I think we make money off of it, but we can't use it.
Matt Lamarche says, I feel like real estate hasn't been disrupted by technology, and no, a Zoom buyer consult is not disruption. What? But I am a technologically enabled agent, Matt.
Yeah, I'm a technologically enabled agent.
D says, I'm in New Jersey and could see 6 different states because of my MLS. So we're making progress. But literally, that is the biggest. If they did that, everyone would be like, oh, gosh, finally. Let's list the listing agent as the primary contact. Let's get all of the listings onto one website. Can we have an NAR president who does this? What is the hang up? What are we looking for?
By the way, if you need guidance, NAR, HAR has already done it. They've already done it.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't even have access to all.
Just call HAR.
NAR, call HAR.
HAR.
I don't even have access to all the MLSs around me. Like there's up in we call it up the hill. I don't have access to up there in Big Bear and stuff. That's why I use Michelle Calkins up there, by the way. She's awesome. Anyway.
There you
go. She just referred me one. That's the buyers I'm waiting to hear. But
nice.
I don't have access to up there. I don't even have access to the MLSs that are close to me within an hour. Come on. And some San Diego ones I don't. Come on.
Okay.
But
let me
we
find
started
this article.
Reach.
But we started Reach.
Right.
Okay. There's another article that the Be More contributors have helped us to identify. This one, so that one, I guess you could say the article that we were just talking about is not as pro NAR, right? Would you say that?
Right. Yes.
So this one's interesting. I'm sorry. Hang on.
Global MLS. I'm in.
Global MLS. That would be so cool. That would be legit cool. All right. Sorry. I'm looking for the tab that has
Zillow is.
Dan.
Oh, wait. That was perfect. I just did the wait and you hit the button.
Yeah, wait. It's ridiculous. Real estate industry opposes newly proposed cash deal reporting rules. Cash deal reporting rules. Both NAR and ALTA oppose a new reporting requirement, which they say are burdensome to smaller shops. As principal broker Remax franchise in coastal Cannon Beach, Oregon, Elena G. As typical responsibilities include marketing homes for sellers. Sorry, there's no way I can pronounce that today.
Gigier.
Okay. Touring homes with buyers, generating new listing leads or business leads, managing client relationships, drafting and reviewing contracts with buyers and sellers. Never in her decades-long career did she think she would be responsible for monitoring and reporting potential criminal activity in the real estate market. It's just ridiculous that they put on real estate agents and companies. That's not the role of real estate agent. There are already so much liability, so many things put on us as agents. It should not be our job to keep track of who paid cash for a home and who didn't.
Well,
so
yeah.
I mean, would it be difficult to, but why are we doing it?
I mean, so here's the deal. If someone says I'm all cash and they give me proof of funds where that cash is coming from, I go write an offer all cash and then we close it that says all cash and they send over their all cash. What else do I need to do?
So shouldn't the title company, wouldn't the title company be the one to kind of say, hey guys?
Well, I was going to say, or escrow, but not all states are escrow states. So yeah, title, right?
Yeah. It seems like title company would be able to monitor that a little easier. So in December, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, so FinCEN, a bureau within the U.S. Treasury Department, disclosed that new reporting requirements were coming for all cash real estate transactions with the goal of cracking down on individuals who use the U.S. real estate market to launder money. They've been watching Ozark.
Okay.
According to the National Association of Realtors, all cash purchases accounted for 23% of existing home purchases and 518 billion of the total 2.25 trillion existing home sales in 2021. There's currently only 12 metropolitan areas in the U.S. in which title insurance companies are required by law to file those reports.
Wow.
Yeah, I figured it would be more. These
That's
metros
low.
are known as the Geographic Targeting Orders, GTOs, and include Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, Honolulu, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami, New York City, San Antonio, San Diego, San Francisco, and Seattle. The GTOs and $300,000 reporting requirement were established in 2016 by FinCEN. The use of shell companies to purchase real estate and other assets in the U.S. abroad by the world and industry leaders highlighted the Pandora Papers. 12 million confidential documents obtained and published by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists.
But I'm
basically,
supposed to report.
There's much more to this story. But basically, the long and short of it is, we as real estate agents and those in the real estate industry and title are supposed to start reporting this. NAR claims that such requirements would have a negative impact on the real estate market as a whole and potentially increase real estate cost. All right, so that was NAR's response. Real estate professionals should not be, in effect, deputized to investigate or enforce money laundering laws because they're not well positioned, and the lack of institutional experience to serve in quasi law enforcement, investigatory, or regulatory capacity.
That's the same thing as I don't give mortgage advice. I say, you should get pre-approved by a lender, and then that's kind of about it. I don't give financial advice. I don't give tax advice. I say, go talk to that industry professional. So
requiring real estate professionals to submit mandatory SARs also will exasperate.
We can't talk about SARs on the show. That's another pandemic waiting to happen.
Can't say that.
Can't talk about SARs.
It will exacerbate the phenomenon of defensive SAR filing and produce an overabundance of SAR filings that are not highly useful.
I feel like this is someone saying it's really hard to do our job. We're going to ask someone else to do our job for us. So hopefully we can find more bad guys. That's what I feel like this is saying, right?
Yeah. Who can we put in the chain? Who can we add in the chain that would make this easier for us as FinCEN?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like something's not working with how we're doing this. We're getting too stretched thin, or we're not catching enough of the bad guys. Who can we add to this that shouldn't be added to this that would help us do our job?
So anyway, that's coming, guys. Be on the lookout for it. If it passes or if it goes through or whatever, if NAR can't fight it, then you will be the first line of defense of money laundering in America.
Right, because I don't have enough to worry about. But will it be me or my brokers?
You will be the first. That's a good question. Is it the agent?
You don't want me at the first line of defense for anything.
No, I actually, I always tell my clients, like, hey, your finances between you and the title company, you and the lender. I just need to know the number. What number is it that you want to pay for the house? And then I'll take care of the rest of it.
Like if you tell me you're paying all cash Ray, and it says, it's a hand-drawn letter that says Ray's bank company, I'm going to question that and go, okay, Ray, I need to know where these funds are coming from. But when there's $580,000 in a Roth IRA or in, that you're going to use, or a retirement account or Wells Fargo, I'm going to trust that.
The title company is also coming out and saying, we don't want to report it. This is burdensome to us too.
Right. So. Like Julie, yes, you have to ask now. That's going to be a question on the offer.
You have to. Julie Moon says, do I have to ask my client if they're laundering money? What's up, Nico? He says, good day, beards. Just so you know, Matt is building the global MLS. He said, I'm building it now. It's called MA Network, MA Network. And Julie Moon has joined Matt's global MLS. So there you go.
Yeah.
Julie Moon says, is that part of the buyer broker agreement now? What? Say that again, Jennifer. Let me turn you up a little bit.
It'll have faster MLS updates than a regular MLS update system, and it's powered by Porsche.
Powered by Porsche, because it's got faster updates. I like
Porsche.
It. Yeah. Now, for you to look up a standard set of homes to show your clients, just to look it up, is going to be 3 gallons of gas. But Because they got to power the servers with Porsches.
With the Porsches, yeah. But it's really well branded, and you get free jackets that say Porsche on them too.
You know, I might join just for that.
If we're paying in Bitcoin, I'm in.
Yeah, you get paid in Bitcoin. The buyer broker Bitcoin agreement.
Yeah.
All right. So we have that's kind of we just wanted you guys to be aware of that. You may be financially reporting in the future. But speaking of Bitcoin, that was a great transition, Jennifer. Algify and Lofty announce a first of its kind partnership enabling anyone to use crypto as collateral to buy fractional ownership in real estate. If you recall, like was it a month or two ago, there was a company in Miami that says, hey, you can use your Bitcoin as collateral now to purchase a home. Well, this one is a partnership between Algify and Lofty that allows you to purchase fractional ownership as collateral. So you don't have to, it's a different type of purchase. So Algify says they're excited to see continued growth in the adoption of utility of STBL, the protocol's decentralized stablecoin. With this exciting partnership, users will be able to leverage their cryptocurrency as collateral to invest in real estate offered by Lofty. So Lofty is the group that offers properties, offers investments at fractional ownership, and Algify is the group that gives you collateral based on your, it's not Bitcoin, it's stable. It's a money sign STBL. It's their coin. What, Dan? Go ahead. Stable coin.
They called it.
Yeah,
They
it's
called
stable.
it stable because everyone knows it's not. So they're like, no, we're gonna put it in their heads. It's stable.
This
We're
one is
gonna
the
call
stable
it
coin.
It's
like-
only Bitcoin and Ethereum.
That's like me calling my money laundering service Dan's not money laundering service.
It might be stable. We can look it up. Let's look it up, see how stable it's been.
These articles, it's like saying, this is what I hear when you're talking about, because it's not just Bitcoin, because I kind of understand using Ethereum or Bitcoin to purchase, like for a mortgage. I kind of get that, right?
Yep.
Right. But
right.
It's like better, but not better. But this is two companies partnering to help you use Bitcoin to buy fractional real estate, not even to essentially buy a timeshare.
So for viewers, the stable. Now this is the volume, right? It's got the volume line there. The price line is the dark blue. But you see, there's been some instability with the volume trading. Volatility with the trading.
They should call it VLTY.
But that's the last 24 hours. Let's look at the entire.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's going up. So it's one of the few that is going up. There's a couple of down moments, but overall, it's going up.
So now I know why your face did that. Ray's face, for the listeners, Ray's face literally went, oh.
Oh. Stablecoin is now worth about $1 for $1. So it's a 0.99816 stable coins for $1. So it's just less than $1.
So
it's
you
way
can
more
just
than a
keep
ruble.
your dollar and have $1.
Way more than a ruble. It would take 300 rubles to buy one stable coin.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But this is honestly, these articles are like when you talk about it's just words. They don't really exist to me because none of it really exists. But it's like saying, Harry Potter moved from a hippogriff to a bowtruckle. Like
what?
Exactly.
So Dan is not really a big crypto guy. If you haven't noticed,
I'm a big Harry Potter guy, but not like.
I think it's the future of coin.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going to go due to the blockchain. So I am a big fan of it, and I understand.
So I do disagree with you. But yes, I still respect you.
It's just like anything. When you change or transfer or change stuff, there's going to be moments of instability. But if you can get through that and people start using your coin, then it should go up, up and away.
Or you
And I
could
think that's
keep
what
your
they're doing.
dollar and have it be worth $1 because stable coin
It's
is
not,
worth less than $1.
Dan, it's not worth $1. Your dollar is no longer worth $1.
Oh.
That's a whole nother thing. Printing money, inflation, which, by the way, just so you guys know, I don't know if y'all have been to civics, but literally government spending of money and printing money does cause inflation. Y'all can put me on a fact check later.
Weird.
Just so you know. Eric Daniel said, "Why does this remind me of Napster?" Yeah, okay. Okay. I can see that comparison.
That's a fair point.
You know what? Okay, so let's use this as a fair point. There was MRC before Napster. If you don't know what MRC was, it was a chat room. You could go in and somebody had their entire music library on there, and you could type in what you want and find these songs, download the songs to your music library. Probably illegal back then. Well, it was illegal back then.
It was 100%.
Then there was Napster that was kind of doing the same thing. Then LimeWire came out, blah, blah, blah. All these like illegal services that were allowing people to get the music they wanted on demand and they could stream it.
Because they were ripping it from CDs. They would buy a CD and rip it.
Right. So what happened? The entire music industry changed, and now they make actually more money from streaming and touring than they did.
The industry does. The industry does, but
now there's independent artists that you can release an entire album and not have any distribution, and you make all the money, and you don't need the management. So more indies are out there than ever before. I can't keep up with who's supposed to be popular and who's not. But the big boys are still popular, right? But what that's done, though, is it's opened up the market for other avenues. And what used to be illegal, this service that we were using that is no longer allowed, is now part of our everyday life.
Right.
And I think that is a wonderful comparison to what is going to happen with Bitcoin. You know, there are some countries that said you can't use Bitcoin here. It's an illegal form of currency. You got to track it, blah, blah, blah. It's all out there and kind of free flowing right now. But I think eventually it will become a part of our life. As soon as they start attaching more properties to a blockchain to where you don't no longer need a huge chain of title, it's all follows it. And as soon as people can see that once you do that and apply it to a blockchain, the seller or the agent that does that can actually make a small percentage of every transaction they're moving forward. That kind of stuff is going to really interest people, and they're going to start doing it. But right now, I would say you're totally right, Eric. It's like Napster. Yeah. And if you get caught using it at college, you're going to have to write an apology note to the studio.
Yeah.
That's what my friend did, of course. Andy Rose said, like better, but not better.
Like better, but not better.
Yeah.
And D Jones has the best.
D Jones says, geez, that looks like an EKG gone wrong. Yeah. This just in. Fed raises interest rate. Didn't see that coming out well. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's so weird because we talked about it before, in our prediction show that they said they're going to announce 3 interest rate hikes. There's been 846 interest rate hikes in the last month. But they're not the Fed ones, which I don't understand, but that's yields and bonds and purchases and blah, blah, blah.
Well, no matter what happens to the interest rate, no matter what happens to currency and Napster, the most important thing is to have a strong company with great fundamentals that your people can work with long term and you can get honest investment with. Right, Dan?
Exactly, Ray.
Knock lays off nearly half of its workforce and announces $220 million round. That's a funny combination in a headline.
4 years in, we're getting good at this. And Matt's got to be loving these transitions. Yeah, I found this one, didn't I?
Yeah.
I was looking around.
I know this one was in this one got sent to my email. I don't know who posted it.
I thought I sent this one, but I saw the headline when if you sent it to us. Either way, I was like, Knock lays off employees. Yeah. That's not good. That's not a good sign for them.
Right.
But they raised $220 million. Shouldn't they pay their, how many employees was it, Ray? 115 or something they lay off? You'll get to it.
Yeah. So 1 year after hiring Goldman Sachs to take the company public, proposed valuation of $2 billion. Power buyer Knocker, so they're one of those iBuyers. Their wild ride has taken an abrupt turn, with the company announcing Tuesday it will lay off nearly half of its workforce in a bid to become profitable by the end of the year, raising $220 million in new funding. So one of the things that may not be widely known that if you go to business college, I always tell you this, especially if you got a financial class, They say that whenever a big company, a major company is trying to make the stock look good, productivity wise, but maybe they haven't hit all the numbers, you can bet that they're going to lay some people off, because then you decrease your labor numbers and your stock looks better. So I think that's probably the tactic that they're looking for. And so, they're going to lay off a couple of people, right? Actually, Dan, at its height, they employed 300 people and said it would lay off approximately 40% of its 250 employees, or approximately 115 workers. But the alternative mortgage provider, they're a mortgage provider. I thought they were an iBuyer. Alternative mortgage provider continues expanding into 15 new markets this year, armed with $70 million in equity funding and $150 million in new debt in funding, led by the Foundry Group, with participation from new investors, including National Association of Realtors, Marikio Umaski, the founder of a luxury real estate brokerage, The Agency. So this is their quote: while substantial, the capital we raised is much less than what we need to set out and raise in our IPO, requiring us to right-size the business. That's another great CEO quote. Right-size the business.
Right-size the business, yeah.
Including the difficult decision to part ways with a number of our beloved Knock stars. Knock co-founder CEO Sean Black said in a statement, "Today's announcement weighs heavily on us, and me in particular. These are people who have worked tirelessly to make Knock the most simple, certain, convenient way of buying and selling a home. So incredibly proud and grateful of each and every one of them."
Now, while this is, you're going to get more, he says this weighs heavily on me, kind of thing. This isn't as cringy as the Better CEO, but this is
actually better.
Cringy.
It's better than what Better did, I think.
It's better than what Better did, but it's not better than any other CEOs. It's just very cringy CEO speak. We can no longer support your employment.
Yeah.
But we did raise $220 million, and our stock prices are looking great now. So thanks for leaving us.
Yeah, of course they're not public yet, but they're wanting to get that IPO out there. Just 2 months after hiring them, we're ready to start our investor roadshow. Black wrote enthusiasm, blah, blah, blah. They kind of tell the story on Inman. It's a good article. You should check it out. By the end of July, it was clear the SPAC market was not going to rebound, Black recalled, and that the company was pivoting in an attempt to a $150 million private raise. That plan was delivered by the Delta V thing that we all experienced that I don't want to say and get censored, and the implosion of Zillow's iBuying business. So we're connected to the iBuying.
Yeah. And this article goes for a while, but it just says the same thing kind of over and over again, that we're going to do better.
Yeah. They actually blamed Russia and Ukraine. Did you see that in there?
No.
The straw that broke the camel's back, Black wrote, was Russia's horrifying full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The U.S. housing market continues to be one of the strongest in history, and our business continues to beat records monthly. But the rest of the market and the world continue to be full of volatility and uncertainty, pushing many investors into risk-off mode.
We're fine. We're great.
We're fine. Everybody's fine. The market we're in is fine. But a lot of investors don't want to take a risk right now.
Yeah, but we're fine. We're doing great. You should invest in us. It's just that the investors don't want to. So for me personally, I'm probably one of the best Major League Baseball players ever. My stats don't show that, but I'm probably one of the best to ever play. It's just you're not going to see the numbers to support that. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Andy Rose said Knock was an iBuyer initially. Okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why it's in your brain that way.
Yeah, iBuyers are taking into this market. They helped cause a crazy price increase by overpaying for homes that couldn't turn around and sell. It's kind of the same thing.
They pivoted from iBuying to lending, and they're not pivoting very well. They're
I
pivoting
feel like
slowly.
This is a dad joke. I'm going to put it out there. Matt Lamar says,
I know.
What do we call a Knock alum?
I feel like he's waiting for us to read it, so now he'll say his funny joke.
I mean, I'm trying to think what it could be. Andy Rose said they changed to be more like Ribbon. They basically are bridge loans to sellers, so they can.
Can I make an offensive joke?
Nope. All right, so
I'm gonna wait. I'm actually gonna wait. If you want to know the joke, follow me on Instagram right down here. I'll make the joke, and I'm gonna tell Ray the joke after because it's funny, but it's not. It's offensive.
All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about is some ultimate luxury home sales. You ready for this? So Russians are unloading luxury homes across the U.S. So wealthy Russians across the country have reported trying to sell hundreds of millions of dollars worth of U.S. property, the New York Post reports. The sales are being triggered by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and growing sanctions that could put some oligarchs' fortunes in doubt. The Post documents several recent listings, both on and off market. It goes into a bunch of details. This is on Realtor Magazine, the magazine you guys, if you're a realtor, pay for. We have seen significant number of ultra high properties hit the market in an attempt to liquidate before accounts get shut down. Aaron Skies, a broker and international chief economist at Nest Seekers International, told the Post. A hotspot, Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, known as Little Moscow for its Russian populations, has seen active listings grow by 9% since Russia invaded Ukraine.
That might be the median price, right?
That could, if you have some big ultra, if you only have a couple of those that sell, right? Like 3 or 4, and they're like, 100 million, 50 million, these big, Usher type
the
homes.
one sold. Remember the one I don't think we mentioned on the show, but we mentioned in the contributors group. It was trying to sell for 255 million. It sold for 170 or something like that here in LA.
So if a couple of big crazy ones sell, that's going to move your average, but your median is going to stay about the same. But if you have a lot of listings kind of in the luxury side that sell, then your median is going to start to go up. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. This is Dolly Lenz with New York-based Dolly Lenz Real Estate. She said, I've never had my phone blow up like this ever in my life. There's a feeling of potential panic. She says that she's getting inquiries from potential sellers who want to know how to get their property, how much their property is worth. They're interested in all cash deals and want to sell quietly.
I'm looking to sell my home.
Quietly.
Hello.
The fear is there. Like, where does this stop? Every day, there are some senators saying LLCs must be further regulated and undressed. They are afraid of getting their assets seized, even if it is guilt by association. Another brokerage representative says. So this is so it's an interesting. First, let's just go over the tactic. So if you don't know, part of the tactic in Arkansas, not in Arkansas, part of the tactic in America was to seize assets of the Russian oligarchs who are kind of friends, I guess, of Putin. And by doing that, hopefully
alleged or
pressure.
otherwise.
Yeah. Hopefully it would put pressure on Putin and his cronies to stop fighting with Ukraine. So that was the strategy. So far, what it looks like has happened is a bunch of countries are just getting yachts. There's like every week there's a report about a couple of countries seizing these nice yachts. Now the yachts have like big guns on them. Like these are not normal yachts.
What?
You didn't know this?
No.
Yeah, some of the yachts are fully equipped with incredible defense systems.
These are like war yachts. I didn't know that was a thing.
War yachts. Yeah. Well, I should know because there's a submarine in our river, in the Mississippi River.
Right. And you're so so jaded by it, you don't even visit it.
Yeah. Anyway, if you missed the start of the show, you got to go back now. So that was the strategy. It doesn't appear to be working immediately. However, what we're seeing is that a lot of the real estate held by these oligarchs are now going up for sale, and then people that are not oligarchs, but they may be dual citizens or foreign nationals, or people that are here that are Russian that own a lot of property. They're afraid that the U.S. is going to come in and say, you're Russian, you own property, give it to us. So now, some would say that would be a fair housing violation.
Right.
Some would say, this is a weird thing. I don't know where it doesn't make me feel good to have the United States government that says, no matter who you are, you can come to America, you can buy property and own it.
We're the land of opportunity.
Land of opportunity for the entire world.
To attack someone.
But if a dictator of a country that you are from
and you don't live there anymore because you want to live here,
we're going to take your property. This doesn't sit well with me.
No,
personally.
Right.
That doesn't seem like the U.S. way I know there's, heck, I may catch a lot of flack for that. Okay. But it doesn't seem like the best way to get things done. It has actually proven that it's not doing anything, but it doesn't seem like it is the best solution to continue to remain a free people, free society, to continue to get foreign investment. Because if everyone sees us do this to people because they are Russian, then what is going to stop the Chinese who have investments here if China does something? So I just don't like it as a strategy. I feel like it devalues property if we could just seize it like this. So I think there needs to be more. This issue has to be looked at more.
Yeah, and what if you're just a really good architect, a really good doctor, a really good something, and you have a bunch of firms and you make a lot of money? You just happen to be from Russia, but everything was done here, and you're very loyal to the United States of America, but you happen to be a dual citizen still, because you go back and visit family or whatever, but now they've taken your war yacht. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. Well, and people say, like, taking your war yacht. Now, it's different, in my opinion, if that person is actually involved in the Russian government, if they're actually involved
or donated to
directly.
Sure.
Well, donated kind of gets in that, maybe somebody donated several years ago when they thought Putin was a good guy. Now this is happening. So I don't know. It gets into a gray area pretty quick. The Clintons and the Saudi Arabia, they had land deals that were all convoluted, and that was a different situation because they were actually contributing to the Clintons in a way. So that would be different in my opinion. But this is, I don't know. This needs to be looked at. So I just wanted to bring that up to let people know that this is happening.
So these people currently, Ray, they're Russian to sell.
That's terrible. and just like that, your camera turns off. Perfect timing. Oh my gosh.
That's the best timing ever. That's the best timing ever. That's good. That was the best timing ever.
Yeah, well.
And by the way, I have a new video game idea called War Yachts. I will be coming out with that in 3 months. Thank you.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea. You have to balance. So you
have to build up your war yacht. You start with a little yacht, and you have to build it up to a war yacht, and then you take on other war yachts. Yep. And by the way, we're gonna offer.
Julian says, "Wow."
Part of the game.
Julie, are you saying "wow" because you agree so staunchly with me, or at the war yacht? Wah.
No, I think she's reacting to the Russian to sell. They're Russian to sell.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that was Dan's comment. She said, yeah. Okay.
Russian to sell. My own camera said no to that joke.
No. Oh, my gosh. All right, we have some comments in the, let's see, Andy says, $1 isn't worth $1. That doesn't make sense. $1 is not able to buy what it did yesterday, but it's still worth $1. The value of dollar is changing so fast, Andy, that you should trade it with something more valuable, like Silicon Valley real estate.
Well, that's different, but a physical dollar is still worth $1. My non-fungible token.
Your non-fungible token, right?
That's gone up.
Ron Bruno said, I sent you an article on IG. Okay, I'll check it out. Ali said, not just rich people who are Russian, right? But I think they are looking at Russians of a certain financial level. I don't think they're just taking away property from all Russians. Ali said they're going after specific people. Okay, but it's sending a message that they're going after more than that. I don't know. Just fiat. Andy Rose said it's fiat currency.
Fiat.
Matt Lamar said, shut them down, Putin. No beards in Russia. It probably will not be broadcast in Russia due to all this.
I'm fine with that.
They sanctioned the model. What do you mean? I'm all for the sanctions. That's for sure. But having people that are in the U.S. panic because they're Russian, they're afraid that the government is going to seize their real estate. I don't like that. That's not a good look.
Oh, sorry, Ray. Oh my God, Ray, sorry.
What in the world?
I took out my headset accidentally.
Oh, let me check this message and
Well, I wanted to
don't
show
see it,
everyone our accomplishment before we go, so I have it up. Before we leave, I'll show everyone our accomplishment.
Oh, yeah, this is good timing for that. Why don't you go ahead and show them?
Boom, right there.
There it is.
We were blessed.
Oh, there it is.
Can you guys all see that? I'll zoom it in. Top podcast award winner 2022. Boom.
By who?
Let's see. It was by Inman, wasn't it?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
Housing Wire?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Realtor.com.
No.
Home Snap?
Yeah.
Home Snap.
So that there is a possibility
that we made
that
this.
is a fake. There it is. But it says we're in the top 90%.
It's true.
So if you guys look on top podcast award winner, it's got the Home Snap logo 2022. It's got mine and Dan's faces, and it says
we're
top
just
90%
as surprised as you.
This week in real estate.
Yeah, we're just as surprised as you. Yeah.
D Jones, I can't say that. D Jones says she's making one. So I actually sent the artwork from one of our agents. I was like, oh my gosh. I sent the artwork to my assistant, and she made that for us. So she did a really good job. Go Rizzo.
And I was just confused at first until I figured it out, and I was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, D Jones said right in Canva. Exactly. It's exactly. Yeah. Dan, would you change your profile photo in Clubhouse to that picture so that people can see it?
Yeah.
So the Clubhouse listeners can see the that's great.
Yep. I just need to, how do I do that? I can go boom.
Yeah, you just screenshot it and then upload it as your image.
That's what I'm doing. I know I'm a Zoomer, but I'm good.
There's a chance that they may not give out awards for top podcast
or podcast at all.
or any podcast. Yeah. But I figured they wouldn't. So I figured we wouldn't get the cease and desist because it says top 90%.
Right. We're not.
I think if we said like top 1%, they'd be like, okay, guys, cease and desist. But I think it's the 90% that does it.
Right.
Now I have to also say,
there you go.
I got so many people in the DMs congratulating us for that award.
Right.
That were 100% like, oh, wow, that's great. Antonio says, can I nominate myself for top podcast watcher Platinum Award? Yes.
You're in the top 90%. Yep.
Top 90%. I always know when he's here because he's like, what's up, fellas? He just pops in and says it on Facebook.
And you're a top 90% podcast commenter too and watcher.
You're at least top 90%, sir.
Yeah.
D Jones also in the top 90%. Easily.
We're in the 0,000th percent.
Oh my gosh, guys. All right. Well, Dan, I think it's time. Would you tell people where they can find you?
Right there. D-Lettergrocks everywhere. Cash App, D-Lettergrocks, DLUDWIGROCKS. But Instagram's where I post most of my stuff. Not a lot of real estate related content. It's mostly just kind of music and me being stupid and stuff. Then every now and then I go, hey, look, I sold a house. I did a thing. DLUDWIGROCKS. And if you want to follow me, I'm going to be making my unacceptable joke on Instagram. I'll let you know. And I don't go live on IG. I go live on Facebook every now and then, but not on IG because it's silly because it's a freaking phone app. Anyway, Ray, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, which is exactly what Ron Bruno did. He sent me this article that said $50,000 is how much one buyer was offered to walk away from their contract after securing a home in DFW. Wow. So how crazy is DFW market still? Utterly nuts, says one realtor as he passed along this story. One of his clients had finally secured a contract for a new home, only to be offered $50,000 by another prospective buyer to walk away from the contract. That's how in demand the market is, how low inventory it has. So I have to admit, I've done this. I had a buyer that offered a client money to offered the other person money to walk away from the transaction, and the person did walk away from the transaction, and my buyer got it. So that is a strategy. I've seen it before. It wasn't $50,000 though. That's a nutty number.
Why not just add that to your purchase price?
That's right. Oh, sweet. Matt LaMarche, he shared the Instagram link there, so you can click that link at the top and see probably our fancy award. You can find me at Razorback. That's RAYZORBACK. Everywhere good Razorbacks are sold, specifically Instagram. That's kind of where most of my content lives. It's kind of the jumping off place for everything else.
Not in submarines.
Not in submarines yet. You just wait for the tour. I'm going to get it out there. Thanks for encouraging me. I'll do that.
He stays away from seamen.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Love you.
Oh, my gosh.